I'm good, man.
Okay, all right. This week in Rivian News, we're starting a podcast. And who's we, you may be asking? It's myself and my wife, Meredith. But you may be asking, who's Meredith? So this is Meredith. Can you tell the people who you are?
Hi, I'm Meredith, obviously. And aside from being Mike's wife, I am new to the EV world. I am somebody who just thought that I wanted a car to get me from point A to point B. But now, having been immersed in this for a little while, I'm here to learn more and expand my understanding, but also spend more time with my husband, because between our work schedules and I'm in school and our adorable dog who takes up a lot of our time, this will be a nice way to unwind and get to talk.
And talk about the thing that you've always wanted to talk about, electric vehicles.
I mean, one of our big COVID watches was the Fast and Furious
Oh,
franchise.
jeez.
Yeah, so cars have become a recent passion of mine, specifically EVs, I guess. But, you know, anything that gets me closer to Dominic Toretto's Familia.
Well, that's true. When I think of Fast and Furious, I think electricity.
Nitro, that's what I'm saying.
Nitro, yes, electricity. You know, and they hit their regen braking all
Yeah,
the time.
obviously. I mean, Fast 22, it's go to space in in an EV.
But what is this podcast actually about?
Yeah,
What are we, first of all, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. What are we calling it?
This is Bed Talk, because despite the fact that neither of us were truck people, our first Rivian was an R1T, and trucks have a bed, and so get into bed with us.
That should be the catchphrase.
Get into bed with us.
Get into bed with us.
You heard it here first, folks.
Adventure is always out there.
Oh, no!
Ooh, we can't tie these things together. Oh, no. Anyways, well, but the actual vision for the show was we would be sitting in the back of the truck bed. We would have some nice lights up, and we would invite other people onto the show. Currently, it's like 30 degrees outside, and neither of us want to be in a truck bed right now in the freezing cold. So we're doing it from the comfort of our own couch, aka the new truck bed. All right, so our first topic for the day is about 3 weeks ago.
The overnight.
We demoed the R1S Tri-Max overnight.
We did.
Yes. What color was it? It was storm blue.
Yeah, I mean, we had been talking about getting an R1S for a little while now, and I think having that overnight demo opportunity from Rivian is unique and wonderful, because I personally don't know of other companies that do that. But for me, the R1S was going to become my car, and to be able to take it overnight and drive it in a variety of conditions, daytime, nighttime, highway, residential, and also to do that with like no pressure from a salesperson sitting next to me, to just organically drive it like it was my everyday vehicle. That was a really unique opportunity.
Yeah, fit it into the spaces that you need to fit it into.
Yeah, like our parking spaces.
Test it out and just see what like everyday living would be like with it. Because you are coming from what car?
So my history, let's break this down a little. So when I learned how to drive, it was a Honda Odyssey. So as you can imagine, 16-year-old Meredith driving a minivan was pinnacle of popularity. And then from there, I had a Kia Forte to the Hyundai Elantra, and now a Tesla Model 3.
Yeah.
So aside from the minivan, it's really been cars the last 15 or so years. And so obviously going to a vehicle like the R1S is a sizable upgrade.
True.
And despite the fact that I am a small individual standing just under 5'2", I've grown really accustomed to cars. So I really wanted to make sure that the height of this, the size of this, was something that worked for me.
Yeah, I feel like we were very unsure about the size of the R1S.
Yeah.
Overall. You were like, that's huge.
Well, you said it's a mid-size SUV, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's technically considered a mid-sized SUV.
So my family has Nissan Rogues, which in my mind is like a
Mid-size.
great size. Yeah, absolutely. It's a mid-size. It's a really functional vehicle. And so I always thought when I graduated from a car, a mid-size SUV would be my next choice. In my mind, an R1S was larger than a mid-size. And I kept comparing it to like the Chevy Suburban. And you would always say, no.
No, that's big.
Yeah, exactly. And now like I'm seeing more R1Ss on the road and they don't seem as big as I thought they were, but it's definitely a sizable upgrade from what I've been used to for the last,
Yeah, I mean, my
years.
history of cars would be like mid-size
Yeah.
with like the 2 Ford Escapes. But when I'm in the R1S that we did the demo with, and even the R1T, sitting in the passenger seat or in the driver's seat, it feels very similar to the 2010 Ford Escape that I had, the silver one.
Oh, yeah.
Like the hood size feels like it's that big. So it didn't feel like we were going from like Tesla Model 3 to the Suburban, which is a tank.
Well, and I think the fact that you've had the R1T since August, I'm so used to being the passenger princess in that, that I'm used to the height.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you and I both drive cars, and to get into the R1S was so jarring. I mean, I have to hoist myself into that truck.
True.
But the Neil feature is really nice.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be a big fan of that.
Yeah, you'll have that turned on.
Yeah.
What did we learn about the auto tilting side mirrors when we were demoing?
Oh my gosh. So a big thing, we go into Boston a lot because we're just outside of it. And unfortunately, Boston is the city of nightmares for me with parallel parking.
Yeah.
And so as part of our demo drive, I wanted to get comfortable parallel parking the R1S. And so with the auto tilt, the mirrors didn't go back to the way I had preset them.
Yeah. Disclaimer is they just updated it.
Okay.
And there were some known bugs, and I think there are still known bugs that the tilting may not tilt back. So it just gets stuck in that position.
Yeah. So if I had parallel parked and then decided like, just kidding, I don't want to stay in this spot and left, I could have been driving on the highway with mirrors tilted at an angle that I couldn't see out of.
True.
Not an ideal situation, but at least something that we acknowledged and now can learn from.
Yeah.
And hopefully Rivian can too.
Yeah, I think hopefully some people on the software side are aware of that, and they're hopefully fixing it. I don't think that they fixed it in the most recent update. Nothing that I saw. They'll get there.
Yeah. Again,
Slow
as
and
long
steady.
as we're acknowledging it, then for me, I'm not as concerned.
Yeah, so we also just don't turn that on.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. The reason that we're doing this podcast with you and I, because I don't think that we've really talked about it yet, is that I'm more of the kind of tech nerd, EV enthusiast. And then how would you describe yourself with vehicles in general?
Oh, completely inept. Like no, truly, like I see a car and I'm like, yeah, that looks good. There's no scratches. It drives. Okay, awesome. So I know very little about vehicles. I have cared very little about vehicles in the past. Truly, until a few years ago, I don't think I knew how to fill my tires with air. So this is a learning curve for me, but one that I am excited to learn about.
Yeah, and I think that it's good to have both sides of the coin, because a lot of people are new to electric vehicles and they don't know how they work. And unfortunately, there are a lot of barriers to getting into an electric vehicle. Something as simple as charging, where in a gas car, you pretty much go up to a pump and you put the gas in the car. Maybe there's a few options, but typically we all put the lowest grade gas into the vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, think about a Tesla and how many times we've tried to get our grandparents or our parents to go into it and they can't open the doors.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a huge learning curve. But
yes.
Rivian doesn't have that issue because the handles pop out.
Yes, handles pop out, and it's pretty. It seems to be working pretty well, and most people understand. Oh, I grab onto the handle and I pull.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. We like that about the Rivian. Okay, let's get back to the R1S demo. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like we chatted about everything else.
Yeah. So we picked it up like late afternoon on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Pretty seamless process, honestly. So we drove in with the Tesla.
Yeah.
Because I was really nervous to drive the R1S to start.
Yeah.
So we drove together in the Tesla to the Rivian Center in Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
And then you drove the R1S home and I drove the Tesla home.
Yes.
How was that for you?
Oh, it was awesome. Because right away we had to launch it to get onto, what's the tunnel? What tunnel do we have to go through?
Oh, I don't.
Sumner?
Sure.
Sure.
Well, yeah.
The airport one.
Yeah.
But in
Sumner
order
tunnel.
to get from Chelsea to that, you have to gun it, or else you're going to get absolutely, just crushed by another vehicle. Welcome to Boston. No one lets you in.
Yeah. Boston drivers are notoriously horrific. I guess that is the benefit of the Tri-Motor, is that you do have the ability to gun it in a way that while other EVs are quick, this is in a class of its own.
Yeah.
I will say that it's not my favorite thing in the world.
What?
The 0 to 60.
No, you don't say.
No, yeah. Listen, I appreciate people who enjoy Rock and Roller Coaster for the launch that it has, the 0 to 60 in like 3.9 seconds.
Yeah.
For me, however, my goal when I'm in a car is to survive when I get to my destination.
Yeah. Point A to point B.
Yeah, exactly. Point A to point B. And just hyperspace launching is not for me, fam. Like, I don't... Absolute pass. Like, give me It's a Small World. I don't need Rock and Roller Coaster.
So if you can't tell, when we got home, the first thing that we did was we launched it. And
3 times. Like, not just once.
Yes. And who was the first one to launch it?
Okay, unsuccessfully me, because I got so scared. We revved it up. We put it into...
put it into launch mode.
Launch mode, which in itself, like...
It tells you all the steps, like hold down the brake, hold down the accelerator.
Yeah, and it's been a while since I've had that kind of jolt. And I made it to what, like 27 miles an hour before I pulled my foot off the brake. And I was like, good God, absolutely not.
Yes, we also didn't have the longest runway that we probably should have had.
Yeah, we were just in a parking lot.
Empty parking lot. Very safe place. But yeah, the first time we got to like 20 miles an hour and your foot came right off the accelerator.
Yeah,
pedal.
no, I was horrified. And listen, like, it is a really cool feature. It's not one that I personally am ever going to use, but it is nice. You're right. Like, there are a lot of spaces in the city where you need to merge really quickly.
Yeah.
Because there are cars that are flying at 70. And so for you to get from the merge point into that really quick flow of traffic, I mean, you don't necessarily have to, go full hyperspace launch.
Yeah.
But the ability to pick up speed the way the Tri-Motor does is going to be incredibly useful.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I think that even with my dual motor, like, it's plenty.
Mm-hmm. It is nice having that peace of mind that if I safely need to make a really quick entrance, I have the ability to do so. I can beat another car out.
Yeah.
Because, truly, like, people do not let you in.
No, not around this area.
Listen, I will say, like, getting over 4 lanes because you're going to miss the exit, just miss the exit,
just
babe.
Just go to the next one.
Go to the next one. Is it going to set you back 36 minutes and you'll miss your dinner reservation? Yes, it will. There's so many other restaurants you can go to.
If you're in the North End, 100%.
If you're in the North End, just don't. Like, you can get a cannoli another time. It's not worth it. There's so many other places. But yeah, the speed of them is also smooth. It's not like a jarring speed. It's not loud. It's a really easy flow to pick that up.
I mean, I saw hyperspace when I put my foot down on the accelerator.
Yeah, you probably did see stars. I know.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
There was one time when we did, it was I think the last time, where I'd switched into the passenger seat and you were in the driver's seat and you were having me film you. So I was sitting like my legs were facing forward and my torso was facing towards you. So
Yeah.
I was tilted left. And when you hit launch, I sideways like went back into the seat and I was like, please hold the camera steady. Please let my hands be steady. But it was a wild experience.
Yeah, it can result in a concussion.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so speed was insane. I think that if you were looking for speed, the Tri-Motor is going to be fantastic. The quad is coming out sometime soon.
Oh my God, what is that going to do? Is that like 0 to 70 in 2 seconds?
I think they're trying to hit 2 seconds.
No.
But the unrealistic thing about that is that you need to have the perfect conditions with like a road with a certain like stickiness to it. The wheels need to be heated. So I think that the torque of the quad is going to slip, and it'll be faster than the Tri, but I think that the Tri is close enough to it.
Well, I said to you, like, can you imagine driving this on the Autobahn in Germany? Like, that would be
That'd be awesome.
the move, right?
Oh,
and Rivian's cars, are they just in America right now?
America, Canada.
America and Canada,
And
okay.
then R2, R3 are supposed to be for a European market.
Okay, I remember hearing that. So will the R2, R3 have tri-motors as well?
Yes. No quad.
No quad. So
But
that's just going to
tri.
be R1s.
Yeah, I believe that it's tri, dual, and they might be doing kind of like Tesla's, a rear wheel drive. So just a single motor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that would be cool to then get those out there.
Yeah, so that's what a lot of people have said, that the Tri is going to be a lot of fun in the R2, R3.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to be so quick and so fast.
And I hope they have so much fun with that. It's not going to be me. I'll just stick to my cars. Like standard, we're good.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think the Tri is perfect. Dual is great if you want the range.
Yeah.
With the Max Pack. And then the Tri, if you want more performance and range, it cuts down on it a little bit, but it's still really good.
But I think, okay, here's the disclaimer though, right? So we're talking about how much I won't be using the launch mode on the Tri, but why did we want to try the Tri? Haha. So, so when we were looking at getting an R1S,
yeah,
what sold us was the white sandstone interior, and that is only available on the Tri-Motor, right?
It's the Ocean Coast with driftwood.
Driftwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Ocean Coast plus driftwood was what?
Like the white leather.
Yeah, really it wasn't the leather or, the vegan leather. It was the dash. Because the wood was the driftwood, which is white, so everything was nice and clean looking, and pretty. Versus getting the dual, you would still get the vegan leather that's white, but you'd get the dark ashwood for the... Yeah,
It just, something about that lighter interior really spoke to me. So would the range of the dual motor have been nicer? Yes.
Yes.
But I was going for optics.
Yeah.
So we chose the Tri for that reason. But the Tri does have good range still.
Yeah,
and it's infinitely more than what I'm getting on the Model 3.
100%. Because the Model 3 is the base Model 3. So we get like 270. But that's not really realistic as far as the miles go.
Yeah. And the Tri gets, what'd you say, like 370-ish?
I believe 370, and then if you're in conserve mode, they say that you can get around 405. So we'll see. I think that's going to be something that we need to test out. But what do you think about the interior when we actually had it? And then the difference between the R1T and the R1S as far as the cabin goes?
The interior of the R1S was really nice.
Yeah.
I think that your R1T is also nice, though.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything negative to say about the interior of either.
Yeah.
But what I will say about the cabin itself, I really liked the comfort of the seats in the R1S. I was concerned. I personally think the Model 3 has like the most comfortable seats.
Yeah, they're so comfortable.
Right? I could do like a 6-hour drive in that and be totally fine.
You're like in a lazy boy.
Yeah, which, for better or for worse, since we don't have like full self-driving.
Yeah.
And not that the R1T is uncomfortable, but I did feel like there was a firmness to the R1T seats that the Model 3 does not have. Yeah. And so getting in the R1S, that was a concern of mine, was that I would be losing a smidge of comfort. But I didn't feel that way.
And the difference between the two, because you're in the Tri-Motor, you have what they used to consider the premium, but they took that off their website. I don't know, there's a little bit of a mix-up there. Maybe it's not actually more premium. Versus the Adventure, which is in my R1T. So the pattern of the seat is different. I don't know if you remember seeing that.
The plaid.
Yeah, because they had more of the plaid stitching.
Yep.
But I totally agree that made the seat a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, and a big thing for me also was the heating on the seats, right? Yeah. So again, I think the Model 3 heats up a lot faster than your R1T.
Yes.
And I will say, like, most of the time we're in the truck, I'm in a winter coat because it's freezing up here in Boston, right?
Now, yeah.
So we are working through layers. But the R1S I thought heated up pretty nicely.
Yeah.
And there was obviously ample legroom. There's never a time where I really don't have ample legroom, being 5'2" with a very short leg span.
Yeah.
But it was totally fine for me. I felt like I was easily able to adjust the wheel and the mirrors and everything to a configuration that I was comfortable driving and seeing with.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to take some time to get used to like the length of the hood, but I think that's inherent whenever you get a new car, is figuring out your sizing and how you fit into spaces.
Yeah. I think what we really need to talk about, and what Rivian needs to take a look into for short people.
Oh, the headrest.
The headrest.
Okay, yeah. This is my biggest complaint with Rivian. Love you, Rivian. But the vehicles as they stand are not created for people who are under like 5'5", let's call it.
Well, let's back up. The seats of the vehicle.
Yes.
Yes. Because that's what we're really talking about.
Yeah. So obviously, if you think about sitting in a car, right? You're sitting at like a 90-ish degree angle with your hands on the wheel, whatever clock configuration they taught you in driver's ed.
Mm-hmm.
But your head is not resting against the headrest.
Not typically.
That's a pretty stiff driving position, right?
Yeah.
But as a passenger, when I'm in your truck, I am leaning against it because I'm relaxing, I'm lounging. And what I will say is that the headrest, A, it's super firm.
Yeah.
And B, the stitching on the bottom of the headrest, or where it, I guess, curves in to meet the back of the seat.
Yep.
It hits me in the middle of my skull.
Yeah.
And it is quite uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And again, like as a driver, I'm not sitting with my head pressed against the headrest. But I would be concerned if I stopped short and slammed backwards.
Yeah. It wouldn't be comfortable. It's going to be,
Yeah. I would be concerned that there would be some issues there.
Well, the biggest issue is you can't adjust it down.
Right. You can only go up, which that doesn't help me.
But you don't hit the actual metal piece, right? Like that, like the metal piece that says Rivian.
No.
That's not your complaint.
No.
Okay.
It's just
the bottom of the headrest, because the stitching is so big, and
I think the back of the seat needs to be shorter.
There just needs to be more customization as far as where the headrest can go, because you can't really.
It's too tall.
You can't change it.
No.
Yeah. Like people over 5'6",
sure,
should be fine.
Yeah.
But you're 5'2".
And 5'1 3/4.
5'2".
Yeah.
So it's not the most comfortable thing.
No, it's really not. I will also give the caveat that like when we have the harness, like the dog bed in the back, right, for our dog, so he doesn't like fall off from the seat onto the floor. The buckle of that is right at the base where the headrest meets the back of the seat. And so the buckle also is hitting my head.
Oh.
But that just,
We can adjust that.
yes, but that just gives you an idea of like where it's meeting, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like you said, you can move the headrest up. You just can't move it down,
You're
which
pretty much,
doesn't help.
yeah, you're kind of, your head is like right where the crease is, pretty much.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, the center of my skull is where the crease is.
So yeah, I think that that's something that they could look into and potentially make a fix. Sure, you could probably get an aftermarket like little cushion thing there,
Yeah.
which you see all those, but like you shouldn't have to do that.
And what I will say is, I know that there are a lot of people, like as somebody who spends far too much time on TikTok, many of the videos that I come across are like, here are cute little accessories you can buy for your car. Like, here's a little makeup to go bag. And then I fall for it every time and purchase all the mini samples at Sephora. But I would 100% see those videos about here's like a head cushion and a seat cushion. And I think to myself, those are really nice, but I shouldn't have to buy those for my car.
Exactly.
Like first aid kits are something that always come up in those videos. Like, here are things you can put in your first aid kit that are cutesy and little. Rivian has that. We don't even have to think about that, which is so nice.
Oh yeah, it's nice that they have the first aid kit in there.
Because you don't think about it until you need it. And when you need it, you're like,
but yeah, I think
should have done it.
I think the overall sentiment is that you shouldn't have to add accessories to make it more comfortable.
Yes.
But with you driving, it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. And do what you want with the interior or exterior of your car. But you're right. Comfort should come first, and I shouldn't have to go out of my way to make it comfortable.
Exactly.
Which, again, I'm not uncomfortable in the R1T, and I'm definitely not uncomfortable in the R1S. Yeah. It's just something to note for those who are shorter and might be driving in these vehicles. Truly, that was my biggest hang up when we took it home for the demo drive. Like, that could have been the make or break for me with the vehicle. But I will say, it was not a break.
Good.
So, something to consider for people, but not, in my personal opinion, a reason to dissuade you from getting either of the Rivian models as they currently stand.
All right, so we kind of talked about the front a little bit, passenger, driver. Moving in towards the back of the vehicle, we have the two different rows.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet.
I mean, you at 6 feet tall, I feel like you still had space in the third row, which is not super common.
We had plenty of space. Like, I had plenty of space. I know that you wouldn't have any issue. But like, even with the seat all the way back in the third row and the second row seat all the way back, like, I could fit there comfortably for a while.
Yeah, I think that there was a really nice amount of space in both the second and third rows.
Yeah.
I thought that those seats were super comfortable.
Yeah.
The second row still heats.
Second row still heats.
Which is nice.
I feel like the third does as well.
I don't remember. I know only the first has the AC.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine.
Oh, yeah. I don't feel like you like that feature anyways.
Probably not.
No, I like the AC seats.
I mean, again, when we get into summertime,
I
might feel differently. Right now, there's no need for me to be colder than I already am when I step out our front door.
Correct.
But I think that all three rows are comfortable to sit in for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
I probably would say that, like, if you are 6 feet or so and you're doing a road trip, like, the third row might not be as preferable, but it's still really not that bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
And I also, the seats, we did have a little difficulty originally when we were trying to figure out how to put the seats down.
Yep.
But I think that was just because we weren't shown to start. And there's always a learning curve figuring out where the buttons are or the latches.
Yeah, we were
Once we
messing
figured
around.
it was fine. And to move the seats on their own, like the sliding forward, I didn't have any trouble, like, weight-wise, I will say. They were easily moved.
Yeah. I think it really is a good family car.
Yeah.
I really wish that Rivian would like lean into marketing with families. They did for a little bit. They did a little series with like certain social media families. Okay. But like lean into it.
Yeah. Wait, I told one of my coworkers that we were getting an R1S surprise.
Ah, that was later in the podcast. Oh no.
Yeah, so we moved forward with the R1S. But when
Yeah.
I told one of my coworkers, she's like, "You're well on your way to being a soccer mom." It really is a great car for families. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't have any children, but we do have an 80-pound golden retriever
Yeah.
who takes up quite a bit of
Yeah.
space. And so to be able to like drive our friends around and have our dog in the car and have like luggage
Yeah.
or I don't know, coolers if we're going to the beach, like there is room for everything that you need. The frunk has room. It's a decent storage vehicle and
Yeah.
a decent travel vehicle.
Okay, this is a free marketing idea for Rivian. Adventure is a very subjective thing. All right. So the adventure of a family should be portrayed as the adventure of a family, like the day-to-day things. And then when you do take the vehicle on what we would traditionally think of as an adventure of like going off-roading, but for the rest of the time, it's a fantastic just family vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, listen, how many vehicles around this area do you see with the bumper sticker that says, "This car climbed Mount Washington"?
So many.
Right? Like
Yeah.
when we were younger, the family trips that you take are usually local road trips, right?
Yep.
So you do like Man in the Mountain, which isn't there anymore, but that's New Hampshire. You
Yep.
can drive into Vermont or Maine.
Yep.
And so adventure doesn't necessarily have to be these crazy off-roading
Yeah, huge,
things
yeah.
like Tough Mudders, those things like that.
Yeah.
Like it can just be a road trip with your family, with your dog. For us, it would probably be driving down to the beach with our
Yes.
friends or with our dog,
Yeah.
a cooler of drinks and food, the speaker from the R1T,
Yeah, yeah.
and just chilling
Just
and like,
lean into it.
yeah, exactly. So I absolutely, Rivian, use that marketing idea, lean into the different demographics
Yeah.
of adventures.
Yeah, because you clearly have already gotten the people that are doing like the heavier adventuring,
Right.
off-roading, and that's great. But now like you need to target like families.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm one of the least outdoorsy people I've ever met. Obviously, my allergies make me a
Yeah.
walking terror outside,
Yeah.
but outdoorsiness is not what draws me to Rivian.
No.
No, definitely not. I
No.
mean, the most off-roading I do is driving onto like my mom's gravel driveway.
Yeah. That's okay.
that's okay.
That's your adventure.
Correct. It really is. But what draws me to Rivian are their sustainable model, their outlook on eco-friendliness.
Yeah.
I enjoy the community that Rivian has. Every time we go into the Rivian spaces, everyone is incredibly welcoming,
Yeah.
willing to talk to you, whether they're staff or just other people interested in Rivian or already owning a Rivian.
Yeah.
And leaning into the community that Rivian has built would be really good for their marketing. Like
100%.
all those commercials, they're like testimonials, but we pay people to do it. Like
You don't need to do that.
yeah, right? There are so many people, I'm sure, who would just give their unsolicited opinions about Rivian and how great they are.
Yeah, I can probably name about 100 of them.
I'm sure. And so that's, I think, a good focus for them in the future to make Rivian seem more accessible to the everyday person as opposed to just people who like the outdoors.
Yes.
That was a good intro into the market, right?
I totally agree. Yeah.
But now if they want to become a leader in the EV space,
Yeah.
that's a good
Yeah.
way to do it.
I think so. And I realize this episode's going to be all over the place.
It really is.
And that's okay, because it's kind of like the intro. But going off of that, I think what I want to talk about next, and we'll get back to the R1S, is like, I think the reason that I got into Rivian initially was all the sustainability stuff and how they saw the environment. And the way that we met was doing community outreach trip. And that was my goal with getting into Rivian. And that's what I would love to do in the Northeast area, would be reach out to more of the community members in the area and do more community outreach and help others in clean places and just get like a huge like convoy of Rivians like doing things.
That would be awesome. I think that Rivian being associated with bettering the community would
Yeah.
be a really good strategy for them. I mean, that inherently is an EV model anyway, right? Like electric vehicles are so good for the environment. And so if Rivian could come up with these events to give back and to do area cleanups, or look at the size of the R1S, right? We're talking 3 rows, 7 seats, right? 2, 3, 3.
7 seats.
2, 3, 2. Yeah. It's like you can transport people who need it to get groceries. My grandmother lives in an assisted living facility, and they have like little vans that they take them to the movies or to get their nails done, you know?
Yeah.
So being able to just help out where you can and leave the space better than where you found it, I think is a really nice thing.
Yeah, I think that they're kind of leaning on the community to
come up with,
stronghold that.
Yeah.
But getting back to the SUV.
Yeah.
So
we enjoyed it enough.
Enjoyed it enough to do what?
We put down the deposit this past week,
Nice.
which was a big step, because truly we got our Tesla Model 3 in September of 2023.
Yeah.
So we really have not been in the EV community as consumers for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you've been learning about this for quite some time.
Yeah.
But in terms of actually owning the vehicles and using them, it's still been under 2 years. I mean, we're at like, what, a year and a half?
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, right? And so we got the Model 3 in September of 23.
Yep.
We got the R1T in August of 24.
Yep.
And so now we'll get the R1S this upcoming weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. So I would say that should speak to the draw of Rivian, because as somebody who doesn't know about EVs, who has not been driving one for that long, because I got your 3 when you got the R1T. So I've been driving the Tesla since August.
Yeah.
And for me to already want to make the transition to Rivian, that should just show how much of a pull they have, because I was quite resistant originally.
Oh, yeah,
but
you love
after doing
Tessie.
the demo, I do love Tessie.
Yeah, Tessie's great.
It is. But after driving the R1T, I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, no, I think it's
Or R1S.
R1S.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think Tessie is great, and it's such a good gateway into electric vehicles. It's still the vehicle that I would recommend for a lot of new owners, just to understand how electric vehicles work, just because they make it so easy. And it is the best software that any vehicle...
Not the best camera.
Not the best camera anymore, no. The new Gen 2 vehicles for Rivian, the camera's unreal.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. But definitely the software for Tesla is still ahead of Rivian, and they're catching up. But it's good to have competition. You need competition.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it definitely speaks a lot to Rivian in general, of like the fact that you feel comfortable enough to get into a Rivian and drive it now.
Because Rivian also doesn't have any cars currently, nor in their
immediate or near
future plans, right? The ones that we've talked about, R2, R3.
Yeah, SUV, more of like a rally car.
Yeah, exactly. They still don't have like a sedan in their plans.
Sedan.
And so again, like Tesla is really good for that. But Rivian overall, I don't think there's going to be, aside from the size, obviously, I don't think there's going to be any incredibly noticeable differences that will leave me feeling like we shouldn't have made this decision. Wow. And I'm not saying the size is going to be like the end all be all. It's definitely just going to take some time to get reused to.
Well, everyone and their mother online would be like, how can you get rid of full self-driving?
But we don't have full self-driving.
No. So
right? I mean, that's the argument.
We don't really use it.
No, we don't. Our Tesla doesn't. We didn't pay for the ability to have the auto lane switch. I can't just plug in a destination and go. Yeah. So for me, I personally don't care, because I won't feel that difference. And the R1S is it only Gen 2 that has the auto lane change?
Currently, yes.
Okay.
I think that they're going to hopefully put that on Gen 1 because it should be able
Yeah,
to.
it's nice.
And they
And
also have the
hands-off.
hands off right now.
Yeah, so I do think that there are actually increased capabilities that I will have in the self-driving from the Tesla to the Rivian.
True.
So that will be really nice. And like you said, the cameras, so good.
The cameras are very clear. It's
Very clear.
It's amazing. We're going from a potato.
Like, do you think I can take a professional headshot in the backup camera?
Honestly, that should be a new YouTube video.
Yeah,
we took
right.
professional headshots with our Rivian's
Backup camera.
Yeah. Write that down. No one steal that.
Copyright.
Okay, we have to tell the people what we actually got because they've been waiting.
Oh, yeah. So we alluded earlier to the fact that I like the Ocean Coast and Driftwood interior. So we absolutely picked that on the Tri-Motor.
Yeah.
And then we got the El Cap Granite.
Yeah.
Which was my first choice, but not yours.
No, I originally wanted the forest green.
Which I will say, like, we are a green family. I mean, currently,
green.
2 out of 3 of the items you're wearing are green.
All the time.
Exactly. Like, your eyes are green.
Yeah.
One of our wedding colors is green.
Yeah.
Our bedroom wall was green. Big green fam.
Yeah.
But the El Cap Granite with the Ocean Coast and Driftwood and the blackout wheels.
Yeah, the 22 Sport Dark.
That, it's just, as my friend said, it's an iconic vehicle for an iconic girl.
I know.
So,
yeah,
why not? You know, go big or go home.
And you're saying this is like your first vehicle that's your own.
Yeah, which is, you know, an interesting thing to say, having driven multiple over the years, but this really is the first time that I've put thought into a car that was, again, more than just getting me from point A to point B.
Yep.
I have never really been able to customize a vehicle, right? Like,
pick what you want.
Yeah. My experience in the past has been you go to the dealership, you see the car that you like, you test drive it, and then you're like, perfect, great, here's the money, drive it off the lot.
Yeah.
I've never been able to customize interiors or wheels. And honestly, I don't even care about wheels. It's not something I think about. But what I will say is your snow wheels, the snow tires you got this past year.
Yeah, winter tires.
Oh, so good.
Yes, the Nokian Hakkapeliitta LT3s are absolutely fantastic if you live in a winter environment. And
not
need
sponsored,
a winter,
but...
Yeah, not sponsored, but...
Really good.
Like,
we drove in a blizzard.
Oh, yeah, everyone else was sliding around, and we were just like, please don't hit us.
Yeah, right. But to have a car with the customization features that Rivian comes with really made this feel like a different experience. And because their sales model is not your typical sales model, right? You're not walking into a dealership. There's nobody who's pushing things on you. You're not haggling prices. It really was not a stressful experience at all.
No, not at all. And I feel like, and I don't know if everyone would do this, but like we've made so many friends at like the service center and even at the space a little bit.
Yeah.
I think, you know, if you have a Rivian or you plan to get one, like just be friendly with the people there because they're so nice and they're not trying to like, I don't feel like they're trying to screw you over or anything like that.
Everyone is so knowledgeable about the products and so invested in the company and the framework that has been built, like, and the future vision that they really just want to show you that you also can be passionate and love this too. And we clearly bought into it. And now we will be a Rivian family with both of our vehicles. Yeah,
no, I'm excited.
I know, I'm really excited too.
So yeah, we have the Tri-Motor Max Pack. We have the El Cap Granite with the 22-inch Dark Sports and the Ocean Coast Driftwood. I've got to make some videos with the two of these vehicles.
I know, you have a lot of content that's coming
I have a lot of work ahead of me.
Godspeed, Titanic.
Man, I'm already exhausted. But no, that's the big update. I think that this podcast we wanted to start with on this podcast.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's nice to be able to chat a little bit normally about Rivian and not just talk about Rivian news every week.
Yeah. And I think also like you have knowledge. I have none in this current sphere, and it will give me and other people who might want to tune in the ability to learn from questions that I ask, like the difference between the tri-motor and the dual motor.
Yeah.
But people can now come along and listen to our journey with these vehicles and the company as a whole.
And I think it's also nice the other way around of bringing the enthusiasts of Rivians back down to earth a little bit of what a general consumer wants out of a vehicle.
Headrests.
Headrests, like, who would have thought?
I know, right?
But yeah, I think it's good both ways for people that are really into Rivian and people that just want to learn a little bit about it, or people that just want to learn about electric vehicles in general. So.
And I will give my unbiased opinions at all times.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah, as a whole, I'm more opinionated than you are.
100%.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. We'll have
it's good balance.
We'll have plenty of content to talk about.
From your lips to God's ears.
What are we going to talk about next week?
Our dog.
Our dog. Oh yeah, and Arlo.
Yeah, how he likes the new vehicle.
Yeah, see how he likes the new vehicle, how we like the new vehicle.
Oh, that's true.
So that'll be I think that'll be some good insight, a deep dive into how we feel about it after the first few days.
I know.
Yeah, so we should be getting it on Saturday.
Yep.
As long as everything goes as planned.
Thanks for getting into bed with us on this first episode of Bed Talk.
Yeah.
And if you want to continue following along to see how our dog enjoys the new vehicle, how we enjoy the new vehicle, what I name it, because that's going to be a whole process in itself,
that'll
right?
be good for next week.
It can't be for this week. I don't even have a clue what I'm going to name it. But yeah, if you want to continue following along, you can subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to your YouTube channel, Mike Kantorsky Tech. And as always,
remember, adventure is always out there.